Hey guys, how it's going? I'm Centurion, and today we're going to be going ahead and, doing a little bit of a deep dive from what the devs have said for the new update for 1.2. So at the moment they've only explained how it's going to be experimental, and this is starting tomorrow on the 19th of January 2023. And so without further ado, let's get into it. I'm going to start it off with how they talk about some bug fixes and how, well, we've got a lot. So, strap in. And if you want a TLDR, hit on screen right now are the notes that I did during the stream. These times are not accurate, so just watch the video.
More, this update isn't that packed with content. No. It's mostly filled with some small bug fixes, and therefore our today's reading.
Yeah.
Well,
so I mean, we've got obviously backlog issues, being the feedback from the community, the internal Jira, the reports from internal QA, and also we've had some, follow-up issues after 1.19. We will touch on that as we've been addressing some of those things in this update. So one of the things that we've done with 1.19 is that we've reworked the weight system. Basically the system that calculates the weight of your gear, of the character gear, because there was quite a bit of issues with that, creating these things too. That means that, for example, the weight of the magazines and the ammo piles and so on, there were issues with that too. So we've corrected that thing out, and together with that we've also returned one thing that was implemented in older versions, and I'm talking about like 110 maybe and before, and that was the weight affecting the wetness affecting the weight.
Okay, yeah. So if you get drowned, you weigh more, and you lose more stamina.
So we've got that back with 120 actually. So right now, if you are in the rainy weather, yes, your gear will weigh more essentially. So that's one of the changes that is returning. Changes and also returning features essentially. So keep an eye on that. Will be
That's interesting.
People who will take care of their gear will be more efficient, essentially. So yeah, that is what has been changed or fixed essentially. One of the
cross that off of your big list.
I'm remembering it for now.
Oh.
Okay. So one of the things that we did with 1.19 was that we've changed quite a bit of things around the character. This update continues that, but not in like a major way, and it contains number of other fixes with the character. We're continuing fixing the character controller essentially. Stuff that did not make it into 1.19, it continues in 1.20, so we got a bunch of fixes for that, but also tweaks. Originally for 1.19 we wanted to connect the weight of your gear. Oh god, I'm dying already. Weight of your gear to the inertia.
Okay.
Right? So depending on how much of stamina your character has, like you will be able to maneuver more or less. So in 1.20 your character movement will be influenced by the amount of gear that you are carrying. So
okay.
if you are carrying more gear, you will be having more difficulties in turning around.
Yeah, so kind of evading attacks or enemy shots, right?
Yeah.
When you are trying to zigzag, sort of.
Just to be clear, it's a very minor impact right now. It's tweakable. You can switch it off if you prefer the old settings that is not adjustable at all.
And I think someone was asking about new maps. It's not something that's we would avoid this topic, but yeah, in the past we also said that right now there is no work on any new maps, no DLCs or anything in that regard. We hope to do that, but
I heard that there will be some changes happening to Chernarus this year.
That sounds exciting. But can you be more specific? Or you can
some big flat area will be changed.
Are you referring to the troll account on Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. We're actually listening to one of the changes in 120.
Really?
Yeah. We've updated
Okay.
well, it's not, the sounds are gone, but we've updated the sounds of the cooking.
Oh damn.
So
But they were quite sufficient.
they are more varied now, so they're not repetitive.
Okay,
there was a
that's
problem
cool.
that like when you had like 2 pieces of meat
Oh,
or even
right.
more,
Yeah.
the sound was the same. So
Uh-huh.
we added more variation into it. There's also like new sounds basically for all the states.
Are is asking about high amount of cheaters on the official servers. I mean, I don't know if you have any new specific updates on that, but with the cheaters, it's been like with a lot of popular games, which Dayz is, and it's like never-ending battle. Like there's a lot of players that we banned last year. Like, geez, I don't know the direct number. Maybe we mentioned it on the last stream, I'm not sure, but I mean, these things are happening. We are banning cheaters, but yeah, like you fix one exploit and one another, you know, arises. So
Yeah. We generally don't tend to talk about, you know, various things that these people use anyway. So it's a little
Yeah.
more undercover.
yeah, that's another thing that very often when we are investigating these things and making some ban waves, we just don't communicate it because it's better for us to keep it, you know, more hidden from the. That's why I think that also on the feedback tracker, when you want to point out a cheater or any, I don't know, cheating community, you can choose to make it visible only to us, so other players.
That
cannot-
applies for any game exploits, by the way.
Yeah. For any game exploits, including cheating, you can always sign in that only we can see it, so you can be as detailed as you want, so we can find, you know, the cheaters and try to do something about it. And no, it's not snitching. It's not snitching. But we are
Target.
helping. Okay, so now getting to the real questions.
Was I
Are
here?
you going to wipe our characters for 120?
There is gonna be no wipe
No wipe. You heard it, guys.
and so on. So when you
So-
use the camera in certain ways, you know,
Mhm.
oh, the camera could like jump into an object and actually
Yeah,
peek
and see
through.
through. Yeah, I've seen people that are like, you know, standing, let's say, on top of a bed, jumping, and
yeah.
as they glitch with the camera, they can see enemies.
That
through
is something different, but I mean,
Okay.
essentially, part of this bug fix series, or I don't know how to call it, was also slight adjustments that we did to the third-person camera, and it's something again that please let us know how you like it. We try to counteract a little bit the peeking over the walls. So here I am looking at the wall, and in the
Yes.
third-person mode, I could be doing this, right?
Uh-huh.
But
Oh.
no matter what I do, you know,
It's a big change. It's really a big
I'm-
change.
actually not able to look over the wall that well. I mean, it's not completely, you know,
Foolproof.
changed.
Okay.
There are ways to go around it, but we've limited
Okay,
this.
so
We finally got to the point that we were able to update the vehicle simulation to the latest one from Infusion. So that was done. You know, it wasn't fully completed. There were, you know, various parts that we were not satisfied with. We had to,
Oh, really?
for example, disable the interaction with the wheels and not make them damageable.
And what's up with that? Do you see it coming back this
Yes.
year, this update?
So that was one of the primary, actually, things that we were looking at in the like last 2-month time frame. Or it was longer, but like, it was a priority for us. Definitely for the past 2-3 months.
Bringing back
So
detachable
yes,
tires.
120 will feature detachable wheels and damageable wheels. So one of the other big problems with the vehicles in 119 was the desynchronization of the gearbox. So when you're driving even manual vehicles, manual transmission vehicles,
Yes.
you could desync your transmission and essentially desync your gearbox and enter some weird states, you know, you couldn't drive forward and so on. So we addressed that. Now the off-road our new military off-road still has some issues with the automatic transmission. We are looking into that. It's unlikely to be ready for 120, but yeah, it's a continuing effort. God damn it.
And we all thought about it.
Yeah, so one of the things that we would like to do this year would be to focus more on the cosmetic side of things. We've already teased a little bit in the stream announcement picture. You may see more of that later in the stream. We did a small adjustment to the sprint. So when you sprint, you are unable to focus on your eyes too much. You focus a little bit, but just a little bit. You have to actually be slower to focus your eyes more.
Okay.
So let us know how you feel about it. You know, I know that there's a lot of people that just like sprinting around is like, you know.
Can I try it? Just to see how it feels? Sounds interesting to me. Oh, right, yeah.
On and off. You may recognize, old school Daisy players may recognize this symbol.
Yeah, I hated it.
If your connection is unstable, if you are having issues with your internet connection. If you see the middle one, then you are disconnected from the server, essentially.
So it doesn't matter what you do.
That replaces like that message in the middle of the screen that's, you know, you may have seen.
Yeah, that was
The
happening
countdown,
for years.
essentially.
Yeah.
And what we've also got connected to the connectivity warnings is the server performance warning. So the user will actually be notified whether the server is performing good or not. So if they will be getting some delays and this icon, the last one, will show up, means that the server is having issues.
Okay, so at least they know it's the issue is not on their machine.
Yeah,
it's out
this is
there.
gonna be super useful for anyone reporting issues, right? And anyone sharing a video, for example, and you know they will have that icon there, and you know you will immediately know much more that okay, this is happening. You know, be the client connection issues or the server connection issues. So I'm speaking of the more technical stuff. I can mention that there is quite a bit of changes, modding related changes and fixes in 120. So modders definitely check the change notes. It's a long one.
So
done some major improvements in there for the diagnostic executable too. That one received quite a lot of tools with 119, and we've expanded even more with some cheats and stuff. So
that's cool.
Using that executable will be actually even easier now. So hopefully that's gonna, you know, simplify work with it. Like I will mention the base building thing first. So we've looked into the placing because there was an issue that the walls could be actually placed very tightly together. So you could have one wall, even with the one wall setting.
People cannot see your hands when you do.
One wall. So the extreme layering of the walls, we've adjusted that, so you will no longer be able to layer the walls this much.
Okay.
So people have been almost exploiting it a little bit.
So some tight places might be now easier to get into because people won't be able to push so many walls in there.
So we've adjusted that on the placing side a little bit. Obviously, you know, the placing settings still remain in there in the server side settings. So if you don't like, you know, on your server, you can still adjust it. But for the vanilla, we've decided to remove the layering because I mean it was pretty tricky to work with. I can mention some other bug fixes in the environment. Some very clever players figure out places in the water that where the water actually wasn't water. It was just, you know, normal business.
Normal business? What does it mean? Like, you look at me like I know what you're talking about, but I don't.
Like normal terrain, basically.
Okay,
and
so
they figure out like
able to walk
these
on a water
stashes, essentially.
Okay, so you want to tell me that people were able to walk on a water, and we let our environmental designer, Dance of Jesus, fix this walking on water?
Something along those lines, yeah.
Okay, this is.
There were
getting
some
a bit
limits that
ridiculous.
are not limits anymore. We've changed
Okay.
that. So, yeah. If you if you appear, if you are an owner of a water base, you may want to look at your base. Before
Okay.
it's too late.
Don't use exploits, and if you did, go collect your stuff and get out.
So, and there's been also one of the important things also for the community made stuff, you know, more maps and server enhancements, and that is related to the rocks. We found that there's quite a lot of performance issues with the rocks, and we've optimized them significantly. So
Okay.
you will get significantly more frames when you're around the rocks compared to 119 and before.
Okay, that's good. I can already see the thumbnails in YouTube videos. 120 optimized rocks, you know, with the big red, you know, arrow pointing at a bunch of rocks. Please do that and send it to our social media.
You know, people actually do really like the rocks.
Yeah, I mean, rocks are important.
So that happened too. And one last thing in the regarding the environment.
Okay.
You may have heard it before, but we made the birds sound happening again. Birds are actually audible again.
Which we heard before.
No.
No, I mean before in this stream.
Yeah, yeah. So
That's super
We-
loud.